Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
This week, President Obama's State of the State weekly address, he said, quote, "We're taking steps to ensure everyone plays by the same rules," which, of course, is another big lie being touted by a corrupt administration. The big government fabricators are trying to tell us that they've helped create more than 14 million new jobs and have helped rebuild our economy. But if you believe this, I've got beachfront property to sell you in Albuquerque. There are more than 94 million Americans out of work. In common man numbers, this equates to almost a third of working Americans. I can hardly stand the fact the current administration is led by a president who abhors business, who despises the American entrepreneur and flat out hates the free market. And he says it in not so many words, which is the subtlety, the almost abusive persona he takes in abusing the American public, weakening our psyche. This week, the Departments of Labor and Treasury took Obama-directed steps to crack down on, quote, conflicts of interest and this corporate inversion. All done, of course, behind closed doors and under the guise of, quote, fairness. Now, does anyone listening to this program think that President Obama is about fairness? I don't think so. He doesn't want to make the field fair. If he would, then he would work with Congress and the Senate to eliminate the IRS and do everything he could to fight stifling regulations and burdensome taxes for American businesses and entrepreneurs. Why is it? Can someone please explain it to me why liberals think the only way to get more money is to increase taxes? It drives me insane. For liberals, though, it is the only way, because they consider society, not the economy. This is the difference between an ideologue and a real American patriot. Liberals consider society stagnant and ungrowing. So the only way in their feeble little minds is to take more money from the existing population. They don't see growth. They don't see a future. They fail to consider that when you reduce taxes, the economy grows because businesses expand. Businesses hire more people. There's more discretionary income for the middle and lower classes. Overseas businesses want to come to America and do business, which means the tax burden is spread out over more people, not less. Which means that at the end of the day, we all get to keep more money in our own bank accounts, and everyone ends up paying less. But that's just way too complicated, and that's too much support for the free market system for liberals. America's founders didn't write the Declaration or the Constitution to make America an, quote, even playing field. There are no guarantees in America except for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But Obama seems to think that his presidency is about being the great equalizer. Or as he says, quote, to make America a place where everybody has a fair shot, everybody does their fair share, and everybody plays by the same set of rules, end quote. Don't you wish that the Democrats would practice what they preach? I do, because if the Democrats actually did that, they would be conservatives. Obama continues to claim that his administration has worked to make the tax code fairer and consumer protection stronger for all Americans. I'm having a hard time not bursting into laughter as I am talking to you. It's the biggest crock of you-know-what I've ever heard. I wish that someone could help me truly understand how common sense Americans have gone off the cliff as lemmings over Obama's lies and delusions. I mean, we have 40% of our nation is insane. But it is no wonder why the left is so frightened. No, let's say absolutely stone cold terrified of someone like Donald Trump. Of course, Obama's got a good thing going on he's fooling his progressive base. He's cozying up on the backdoor deals and in the dark alleyways with corporatists, lining his own pocket and lining up his ex-presidency to get his and to keep his coming. I wonder how many corporate boards Obama will end up sitting on after he leaves office. Time is going to be a very interesting opportunity for all of us to see what the president does. But at this point, there's nothing about Obama that should have caused any of us to think he was capable of even being president. And after 7 years of failed policy, especially as it relates to domestic and economic policy, our nation is weaker, our people wimpier, and our unity has been decimated. Is this cause for us to be angry? Absolutely. Are we frustrated? You bet. But you can do something about it. Don't get stupid. Get focused. It's time for you to join the Convention of States project, because you have the ability to take the power away from D.C. and bring it back to you in your states. This is how we keep the presidency to what it was supposed to be, which was having a national leader whose responsibilities were to be a champion for the people, champion for businesses, and a champion for liberty and everything our nation was founded upon. We should never think we need to rely on one man or a woman for this type of leadership that is meant to destroy and deride and divide our nation, while mandating laws and rules and regulations with a phone and a pen. You are a leader right where you're at. You are an influencer to your family, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues. You are powerful, and it is time for you to bring back your power from D.C. and return it right where it's supposed to be, and that is with you and your state legislatures in your states. Join me at conventionofstates.com. Would love to have you as part of the 1.4 million and growing movement to use the Constitution to save America. I want to know what you think. Tweet me at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizzly Radio. Have a blessed and inspired week, and remember, you are the next leader of our country. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. It is astounding that Obama's words can still astound me. His comments to the Argentinian students stung my heart and soul. Responding to a question from a student about how do students in poverty create change, he said, quote, "So often in the past, there's been a sharp division between left and right, between capitalist and communist or socialist. And I mean, those are interesting intellectual arguments, but I think for your generation, you should be practical and just choose from what works. You don't have to worry about whether it neatly fits into socialist theory or capitalist theory. You should just decide what works." It's not about whatever works. Is he really saying the ends justifies the means? Yes. The answer to that question for Obama is clearly yes. If we lose our freedom along the way, what difference does it make? As long as we accomplish the greater goal, whatever that is. Which is why we are seeing the revolt by the American people this election year. Just to contrast, here is how Reagan described the difference between communism and capitalism when he made his world-changing speech at Brandenburg Gate. In West Germany and here in Berlin, there took place an economic miracle. The leaders understood the practical importance of liberty, that just as truth can flourish only when the journalist is given freedom of speech, so prosperity can come about only when the farmer and businessmen enjoy economic freedom. Freedom leads to prosperity, and it releases each human soul to become all God meant us to be. That's what works, and that's why America was founded. This is Sarah Steelman for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, and at Sarah_Steelman. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Tamara Colbert, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Chris Jasper, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Narrowgate Security Agency. Visit narrowgate.com. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.